You think you know the story, a wolf. 3 little pigs, a chase. A house made of straw, sticks, and bricks. It's the stuff of childhood, isn't it? Simple, harmless, a fable to tuck into a cozy corner of your memory, dusted off only to calm the minds of young children or entertain around a roaring campfire. But something isn't quite right with this story. The wolf, the one that so famously huffs and puffs, that blows down fragile walls, he's not just a wolf. No. This creature, so familiar, so outwardly mundane, is a shadow of something much older, much darker, and far more terrifying. Because what you thought was a simple children's tale is actually a cryptic reliquary that stretches far beyond the borders of fairy tale and into the forgotten places of human history. The first pig, simple in nature, decides to build a house of straw. Quickly, effortlessly, the work is done, and the pig, pleased with his effort, lounges in his home, ready for a life of ease. The wolf has always been here, lurking just beneath the surface. 3 little pigs are born into the world, small, bright-eyed, and eager to begin their lives. His sharp claws click against the earth like a warning, and his breath is heavy, like the air before a storm. He moves swiftly, with purpose, seeking out the first pig. The pigs, innocent as they may seem, are not simply victims of the wolf's hunger. They are players in a much larger, cosmic game, one that has played out across generations, across cultures, across time itself. Not by the hair of my chinny chin, he declares, bravely but foolishly. So listen closely. The pig runs, terrified, to the second house, one of sticks, barely more substantial than the first. And when we speak of wolves, we must remember, some houses are not meant to be built, but torn down. Little pig, let me in, he tries again and again, but the house does not budge. The wolf, defeated, slinks away, vowing to return, but the pigs are safe for now. His house rises quickly, and like the first, it feels secure, though the wind begins to howl outside, unsettling the air around him. The pigs are still there, but their houses are far more ominous. The wolf, instead of merely huffing and puffing, is often described as a harbinger of doom, a supernatural force. He is a reflection of something far older than the pigs or their homes. The wolf, in this context, is a reflection of the collapse of the natural order, the collapse of civilization itself. The pigs, with their hastily constructed homes, are representative of mankind's fragile attempts to tame the wild. It asks the question, what happens when the natural order is threatened? What happens when the wolf, the destroyer, comes to reclaim what is his, but nature is relentless? And the wolf is its most primal manifestation. The wolf, standing at the threshold of the pig's carefully constructed homes, is not just an antagonist, he is a cosmic force that we cannot control, in some versions. The pigs are not merely innocent creatures, they are embodiments of the elements themselves, each representing an aspect of the natural world: earth, air, and fire. The wolf, a destroyer of order, a force of chaos. Not by the hair of my chinny chin, he cries, the fear now growing in his voice. No, he is a shape-shifter, a trickster god. In the deepest recesses of the lore, wolves are often associated with transformation and death. In earlier versions, they were not simply little creatures working to secure their futures. For no house, no matter how solid, can truly protect one from the forces that lurk in the world. They were often seen as symbols of humanity's struggle against the forces of nature: greed, survival, and the illusion of control. Each pig represented a different aspect of human folly. The pig who builds of straw is naive, the one who builds of sticks is lazy, and the one who builds with bricks is the only one who understands the true weight of the world. To see a wolf was to see the coming of a great change, a boundary between life and the unknown. In some Slavic tales, the wolf even represents a dark, ancestral force, a spirit of vengeance that hunts down those who have violated sacred laws. The two pigs flee, their tiny hearts racing, to the last house, the one made of bricks. It begins on a quiet morning, where the sun creeps lazily over the horizon, casting long shadows in the dewy fields. Each pig is given a gift, freedom. But freedom comes with a price, freedom comes with a choice. The pigs survive, the wolf slinks back into the shadows, and all is well. The story was told in Eastern Europe, in the forests of old Germany, and across the windswept plains of Scandinavia, long before it was packaged into a children's story. The second pig, a bit wiser but no less eager, chooses sticks. Sturdier than straw, but not by much. It was popularized by the Brothers Grimm, yes, but the tale existed long before their ink met parchment. The original roots stretch deep, deep into folklore, where the meanings of the wolf and the pigs take on shadows far darker than we are accustomed to. The third pig, the cautious one, the careful one, builds his house of bricks. Each stone is laid with precision, each layer carefully constructed. His house, solid and enduring, stands firm against the elements. And then the wolf arrives. He is a creature with hunger in his eyes and a purpose in his stride. Little pig, let me in, he growls, his voice a low rumble in the darkness. The first pig, trembling in his house of straw, quivers, but refuses. The wolf huffs, and he puffs, and he blows that straw house down, scattering it like dust in the wind. The wolf, now emboldened, repeats his threat. The second pig, heart pounding, denies him as well. The wolf huffs, and he puffs, and down comes the house of sticks, tumbling to the ground like the brittle dream it is. This time, the wolf is not so quick. He huffs, he puffs, but the brick house stands strong. It is not shaken. And so ends the tale, a simple story of good and evil, of cunning and survival. But this is not the whole story. The version we know today, so tidy and neat, has been shaped and refined over centuries. The earliest versions of this story don't come with the quaint charm we recognize. They are raw, untamed, and sometimes horrifying. Take, for example, a version from the 16th century, recorded by a Czech folklorist. The most striking feature of these older tales is the wolf's nature. He is not simply a ravenous beast. As we travel further back in history, we start to understand that the wolf is not just an animal. The origins of the pigs themselves are also murkier than we might think. But even this careful builder, the one who uses bricks, is not safe. The story we know the tale of the huffing and puffing wolf is, in its original form. A mirror of human existence, this version of the tale, steeped in fear and ancient wisdom, persists even today. What does the wolf represent? You see, there is far more to this creature than mere hunger. The wolf is ancient. The wolf is primal. It is a shadow that stretches back across millennia, a symbol that has held sway over countless cultures, and a figure that has roamed the stories of humanity since the dawn of time. They were both feared and revered, for they could not be tamed. The myth of Lycaon tells of a king who is transformed into a wolf as punishment for offending Zeus. They are representations of the fragile, temporary shelters we build for ourselves, our homes, our families, our cities, unlike other mythological creatures that are part of great pantheons or armies. The wolf stands alone in its hunt. This solitary aspect of the wolf speaks to the psychological depth of this archetype, the lone hunter, the outcast, the force that does not bend to human law or society. The wolf is the inevitable reminder of how frail these illusions are. The wolf doesn't need help. It represents the dark, quiet force within us all that is untouchable, that will never be tamed. They are human constructions, built in defiance of the world's raw and untamable forces. Yet, it carries echoes of much older beliefs that stretch back to the dawn of civilization. But the wolf knows something they do not, that no matter how hard we try, we cannot escape our nature. The ancient Indo-European peoples, those who roamed the steppes of Eurasia long before written history, had a similarly dark relationship with the wolf. It represents the moment when humanity is consumed by the chaotic, destructive forces of nature. The werewolf is the man who loses himself to the wild. And the wolf. He is the force that tempts, pulls, and ultimately consumes. For them, the wolf was both a totem of power and a symbol of destruction. They are gods, demons, and everything in between. And in the tale of the three little pigs, the wolf is not merely an animal. The wolf, be it in folklore, in literature, or in our nightmares, never truly fades. It shifts, morphs, but it never disappears. Why? Because the wolf is us. It is a reminder of what we are always one step away from becoming. It is a representation of this ancient, untamable force, a force that has survived countless millennia, morphing and shifting as it passed from one culture to the next. Their shamans would wear wolf pelts in rituals, invoking the spirit of the wolf to transform and transcend human limitations. But the wolf's spirit was a jewel, one capable of both leading and destroying, a reminder that power could be as dangerous as it was alluring. A mythological thread that stretches back into the deep past, into a time when the wild ruled the earth and humanity had to contend with its terrifying power. Among these stories is one that may sound eerily familiar, the tale of the hero Gilgamesh, who, in his quest for immortality, encounters vast wilds and untamable forces. Not because they are comforting, but because they are true in ways we are too frightened to admit. We may build our homes, we may fortify our walls, but in the end, we are all vulnerable to the forces of nature, to the wolves that walk at the edges of our worlds. In one version of the myth, he battles against an untamed creature that calls to mind the wolf, a wild force representing the chaos of the natural world. In these ancient stories, the wild, the untamable, was always something to be feared, something that would tear down the walls of human civilization and remind us of our frailty. No matter how grand the brick house, the wolf will always find a way. He is the force that cannot be contained. The force of nature's rage, the terror of the cosmic unknown. And the wolf comes not just to destroy these homes, but to remind us that nothing we build can withstand the inevitable chaos of nature, of time, of death. In this tale, the wolf represents the loss of human control, a descent into a more savage, primal state. In both cases, the wolf embodies an aspect of human nature that we fear most, the animalistic, the untamed, the chaotic force lurking just beneath our carefully constructed society, the wolf. The pigs, their crumbling homes. And their eternal struggle are part of something much larger, a thread woven into the fabric of human existence itself. In Norse mythology, for example, the wolves Skor and Hoti chased the sun and the moon, respectively, forever attempting to devour them. They are agents of cosmic change, bringing the world to an end when the wolf finally catches its prey. Here, the wolf is not just a destroyer, it is the instigator of a cataclysmic shift in the world order. The wolf is not just a beast. It is a figure of chaos, of destruction. It is the harbinger of death. The wolf in the story isn't merely trying to blow down houses, no, it is a representation of the dissolution of order itself. The pigs' homes where the straw, sticks, or bricks are metaphorical constructs, they are humanity's attempts to secure safety and order. Against the wild, against the forces we cannot control, and the wolf is the wild. In ancient times, wolves were seen as creatures who lived between the worlds, the world of men and the world of the gods. the known and the unknown, this symbolism is not unique to the Norse. The Greeks, too, saw the wolf as a figure of transformation. The pigs, then, are not just innocent victims, and there is something else. The wolf is often alone. Now, consider the pigs again. They build their homes, each one a symbol of the stages of human effort to shelter themselves from the world. The three pigs' houses are symbols of illusion of control, illusion of safety, illusion of permanence, but this is where the story transcends mere allegory. What we are witnessing is not just a tale passed down for generations, but an ancient pattern, a story that echoes through the ages, surviving across time and space. The tale of the wolf and the pigs may appear to be merely a folk story. Consider the Sumerians, the first great civilization. Their myths, etched into clay tablets, tell of a time when gods and monsters roamed the earth. But it's not just the Sumerians who understood the destructive potential of the wolf. The very word werewolf, the human-wolf hybrid, emerges from this ancient mythology. A transformation that holds deep meaning across these ancient cultures. Wolves are not just animals, they are metaphysical agents of change and sometimes destruction, and still, even now, in modern times, we see echoes of this force. The story of the three little pigs and their crumbling homes is more than just a fairy tale, it is a warning. These ancient stories of wolves and pigs and houses have survived for thousands of years. And now we return to the story we know of pigs and houses, of wolves and breathless chases. We return to the familiar, the comforting, the simple. The pig builds his house of straw, of sticks, of bricks, and the wolf comes to tear it down. It's a story that's been told 1,000 times, reshaped 1,000 ways, but at its heart, it remains the same. But now you see it differently, don't you? It teaches us that the wolf is always waiting, that the houses we build, our homes, our societies, our identities are fragile in the face of something far older, far darker than ourselves. Can we ever build a house strong enough to withstand the winds of chaos? Or are we forever doomed to face the wolf, to feel the walls tremble, and to wonder what happens when they finally fall? And when they do, the wolf will be waiting at the door. The pigs, small, innocent, fragile, are not just the victims here. They are a mirror to us all. It is a story we've been telling for centuries. And we will tell it for centuries more, because the wolf and the pigs and the houses they build, they are us. They represent our futile attempts to ward off chaos, to hide behind our walls, our systems, our security. The wolf is not just an animal, it is the inevitable end, the reminder that everything we build is temporary, that no wall is too high to be torn down. The wolf is not just a destroyer, it is a symbol of the wild, of nature's unyielding power. It is time, it is death, it is transformation. It is the force that will always come, no matter how much we try to deny it. And perhaps, if we listen closely enough, we can hear the howl of that wolf at the edges of our world. We can feel the winds shift, the house of straw quiver, the house of sticks tremble, and the brick house begin to groan under the pressure of the unknown. The story of the three little pigs teaches us more than we realize. And perhaps, in the end, the question isn't whether the wolf will come, but whether we can ever truly be ready for it. The tale of the three little pigs, in all its simplicity, is a cosmic riddle. Next time you find yourself in a house of bricks, consider this: even the strongest walls will eventually crumble, even the most perfect constructions will fall.